buried underneath it.
Yeah, that's probably what it is. Some type of an infauna is what they call animals that live in the sediment that is spitting stuff up and disturbing the...
Or it could be the sea cucumber's recent deposit into the bank of deep sea sediment.
Yeah, that's true. We're good for science.
All right.
That's the white discoloration. Got us all. We all thought it was something. It seems like we're getting in a little more consolidated substrate now as we go along. Well, there's some pebbles there in front of us, but it looks a little bit rockier, which you'd expect as we get closer to this first ledge that we're going to go over today.
Try left this nav.
So
we
one of the
seem
things
to be
that
tracking again.
scientists such as
Let me know if you want me to
Chris and I
make any more
and
changes.
Many of our shoreside pool are interested in is just the number of an abundance and diversity of different sorts of animals and other forms that live on the bottom of the seafloor. And so when we see things, when we see nothing, that's...
The shift door will be opening for the next 10 minutes. Again, it's the shift door opening for the next 10 minutes.
And so when we don't see anything, that's actually interesting in and of itself, because this gives us some indirect sort of question as to why this area isn't so heavily populated by some of the other filter feeding forms. Is there nothing here that is the sediment, which is why everything doesn't live here? Or are there inappropriate substrates? The bottoms aren't great for animals.
Excuse me, for one moment, could we focus on this yellow thingamajigger?
Yes, video, come on in.
It's a crinoid and a brittle star and a dead sponge stalk. Okay.
All good with that science?
Yeah, we're pretty good with that. I thought it could be our first plexaurid, but I was wrong. So thank you. Because Asako's here, and I'm trying to find one of the animals that she specializes in, or an example of the group, or one of the groups that she specializes in. These beautiful soft sea fans called plexaurids. We'll keep our eyes open for them.
Looks like there's a big coral branch on the path ahead of us at the top of the screen.
Yeah, we'll get there.
Yeah, no worries. Wow, these white patches of whatever they are, bioturbation or whatever, are pretty common. I wonder what
The
makes
ship
them.
still has about 8 meters on that move.
Oh, pretty soon we're going to start getting an increase.
You should start filling it probably
slope.
like in a minute
I
or
can
two.
just see
Co-pilot.
from the high pack screen.
Okay.
Ooh, that'll be interesting.
It's not going to be quite as dramatic as
Just follow the
yesterday. It's
star.
going to be a little more
Go ahead,
gradual.
Carla.
To the left.
I think it will be interesting.
To the left. You have to leave
The little white one. We're coming back down to it. Keep coming. Should be somewhere right there on the right. On my right.
Okay, zoom in.
So we're gonna stop tracking, go back to
Notice.
3.1
No.
interrogation break.
No.
Let the co-pilot know
Shell or
Yeah,
to
something
stop
like that.
the
Or
USV
Sorry,
line
guys.
series
the coral.
and only track D2. That is correct?
Good effort.
Nav bridge move complete.
I mean, if you have USVO open,
Some
I
of
might
these are
need
starting
some.
to look like
You tell me what to do, but yeah,
some
that
of these
sounds
flatter
fine.
tubular structures, but I'm just not certain
Okay.
enough to
Bridge.
grab a rock.
Copy.
I think it
Thank you.
behooves us to wait until we're absolutely certain we got some
Nav, I think if I
undersea
turn
volcanic
my USBL
lava flows,
off,
which
it
we call
will
pillow
switch to
flows, because we
battery
want
now
a
that it's
volcanic
woken up.
rock.
I'm not sure about that.
Sea
but
cucumber
you
on
could
the
ask them
lower
about
right-hand
that.
side.
Oh yeah.
No, we actually are not gonna turn it off. We're just gonna stop tracking it.
Okay, fine.
Alright, videos start to zoom in.
So this is a sea cucumber. This is an echinoderm. Oh, this is a different one than what we've seen. Amperima, maybe?
Yeah, it's...
Co-pilot,
these
this
might
ship
actually be able
stopped
to swim
moving about
if
20
properly
seconds ago.
encouraged.
All right, thank you.
So these, as a general description, sea cucumbers are sort of the earthworms of the sea, except that they can swim sometimes. This one is translucent. They absorb, they pretty much devour sediment in the deep sea floor. As you can see, the mouth on the right side doing, they're basically just picking up sediment, and they absorb and digest the organics from the body, and then they deposit the clean sediment out with their poop. And so, and that's literally what you're seeing. You're seeing their intestine through their transparent body, and the sediment just sort of loops through it, and they clean out all of the organics, and out comes clean sediment. Very, very similar to the way that earthworms feed on organics in terrestrial ecosystems. Now, the fact that it has this kind of structure on the top sort of suggests that this one might actually be able to swim, and so they usually, when they're done feeding, they usually will take off and try and locate better ground to find yummier goo to eat. You can see the almost adorably cute legs on the bottom there, moving around in the sediment. It's like if you had a cat with 15 suction cup or adhesive legs. Lovely animal.
Thank you, pilot. We're
Yes,
good
thank
with
you.
that.
We can move on.
Video, whenever you're good.
This might also be the cause for all of these white patches on the
Center
sediment.
bottom, just one on the main bottom.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting that you mentioned that, and then very shortly we find one of these animals that
Yes.
actually creates that.
Yeah.
Just came in, you see it?
Yeah.
Well, this is a dead stem, or what is this? It's sticking up. It's casting a shadow. Maybe we could take a
Video, come on out.
quick look at the stick.
Okay to zoom?
Yeah, go for it.
You got one.
Oh, the brittle star, but
Oh, it's real.
Yeah, that's the same species, or at least the same genus of the brittle star that we're seeing on the corals.
Right.
just take a
Impartial.
quick
Yeah.
look at whatever was sticking up
Yeah,
right.
that's Ophioplenthaka. Oh, it looks like a lot of interesting things in this little bank
Yeah, a
of
little tuber.
sediment.
Oh, so
Yeah.
there's a stalk. Yeah, it looks more like a sponge stalk to me. I think it's potentially dead. Yeah, it's dead. Okay, that's good. Thank you.
Live video.
We have, so these translucent structures in the center of the screen. So this is one of the lovely things that we see in the deep sea that make my life worth living. These
What are they? Oh, I think I know.
Yes. So these are what's called predatory tunicates. They're very similar to a genus that I know of called, is it Megadicopia?
Come on in.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. And so tunicates are normally suspension feeding or filter feeding animals. But in this case, and so they have one siphon that brings water in and another siphon which pushes water out. In this case, one siphon is modified to be a little larger, and when the water comes in, it'll actually bring animals in, and it'll trap them inside this hood.
I guess go for
And so these are kind of unexpectedly predatory animals because, like sponges, most people expect them to be sort of passive filter feeders when in fact they're actually sort of ambush surprise predators. So when whatever they're eating is dead, they then get pushed out the excurrent siphon. So there's a modification of what normal tunicates do. And surprisingly also, these are actually closely related to us. They're in the phylum Chordata.
Speak for yourself, Chris.
Not in the morning sometimes. But yeah, I think the one that we were just looking at probably that looked more like a worm living inside it rather than something caught. But I'm not sure exactly if they feed on crustaceans or other things. But yeah, so this is looking right into the sort of mouth opening of this animal.
So this is pretty cool. I don't think we've seen these the last couple dives, so they're always great.
Yeah.
They're just such a weird animal.
There are several odd
Right, Sam,
sort
so
of
you happy with
deep
that?
sea
Yeah, we are,
like
thank you.
that.
Great. All right, video when you're ready. Come wide.
Is that a skeleton or a black coral?
Right over top of you.
Right there, video.
Yeah, let's
Quick
take a
zoom.
quick zoom on this. This is...
Think of,
Well, it could have been a remnants of a chrysogorgid or a black coral. Probably the remnants of long dead chrysogorgids. We're good with that. Thank you, pilot.
copy that. Pushing forward.
And once you get out ahead, we can probably get moving again.
Yeah, I don't see why not. Nav, watch it just.
Oh. Go ahead, watch Lee. Yes, that is right. They're doing some testing right now to see if we can improve the USBL tracking.
So Tina Molitsova identifies that barren stock we just saw as something
no,
that
right
used
now
to be
the
a
one
black
that's
coral,
jumping is the
Sporopathes.
ROV one.
Thank you, Tina.
All right. What
And,
have we
we're
got
ready
in the
for
water
move
column
now.
over there to the right? Is it just a shrimp?
Shrimp.
I think so. It's a pretty big,
Same move as before, 30 meters to 80.
Video.
pretty good sized shrimp.
Bridge, this is nav.
Go ahead now.
I know what
Let's
this
get
guy
another
is
move in.
already.
Exactly the same as before. 30 meters, bearing 280, speed 0.2.
This is
30 meters,
the
980,
had
so that's
12 too many
Clear copy.
beers shrimp. So this thing is Acanthophira, and I call it the drunken shrimp because if you look at the way it swims, he cannot figure out
ROV
which
nav, bridge
way to
move
go.
initiated.
He's spinning all over the place.
Copy bridge, thank you.
And actually the way he swims is really distinctive. And so you can spot these things a ways off. I think the name Acanthophira is something like spiny fire or something like that. What do you know? I mean, you know Latin better than I do.
What?
Well, I mean, acantho is spiny.
Yeah, spiny.
And then phyra would be fiery red or red spiny.
That's
Yeah, let me
Fire?
check.
Thank
I'm
you.
not sure off the top of my head.
Oh, comes back. Encore.
All right. And I think he's gone. All right.
It's our tentative ID until Mary Wickstein from Texas A&M weighs in on the arthropods. She's been helping us out quite a bit with those for the last few years, as well as previous years in the Atlantic. This looks like a dead sponge stock, a very tall Calophacus that lost its head.
Do you want to zoom at all, actually?
I don't. If you want to look at the barnacles on the top, maybe a quick
Sure.
quick zoom on those.
All right, video, quick zoom on
Yeah.
barnacles at top. Rising.
Yeah. So I think this is in the group of barnacles that are called gooseneck barnacles, even though these don't have much of a gooseneck. These are ones that actually have a stalk, and that's opposed to the barnacles that many people are familiar with at the seashore in shallow water, where they're encrusting on the rocks there,
Now,
particularly
who are
the East
you
Coast.
working with in dry lab?
Can't really see the stock
Josh?
very well on these really small ones, and it's very minimized. But in some species, it's
No,
quite
dry
a long
lab.
stock.
Co-pilot was asking me who I was working with in dry
We're
lab.
going to continue to push on and look for more and better things.
Do the ship move in remote?
Yeah, we have about
And
15
we may be
meters to
getting
go.
some rocks right now.
halfway through the move.
Copy. Still 280.
That is correct.
And just looking at the HIPAC screen, we should be pretty close to where we're going to start going uphill for a bit.
There's a brown floating thing on the bottom in front of us.
A floating thing on
There's
the
a-
bottom.
Right there.
Leave me watch it.
Oh, so big rock and then center, sort of lower
Left.
center.
Is that a rock pen?
I don't know.
Yeah, video, come on in.
Yeah, that's it.
It's a rock pen.
Oh, it's a rock pen.
Yep.
Ha!
Good eyes, Chris. Way to go. So a rock pen is a sea pen that lives on rocks. So most of the sea pens are sediment-dwelling animals. They are an octocoral, so they're related to some of the other corals that we've already seen today, like the bamboo coral or the chrysogorgid. They've got the 8 tentacles, like other octocorals, but they have a very different way of making a living. And
Do they adhere to the bottom with adhesion? Is that how that works?
kind of like a suction disc, if I kind of understand it right. You know, like one of those plungers where you plunge down and it sticks it, or a window suction disc.
Is that a sea anemone on it? Or is that just the tip?
No, you're right.
Yeah.
So
Sea
it's a
anemone on
lantid
it.
or a
Video
sea
more
anemone,
zoom
yeah.
video.
Oh, that's kind of weird. Never seen a sea anemone growing on one.
So I think this could be something like... Oh yeah, Steve Auschwitz has commented on this, and he thinks it could be Anthoptylum, and yeah, I agree with you, Steve. Thank you very much for that ID.
That's just let me know when you're ready.
You good, Chris?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you.
Thank
Right.
you. You can move on.
Video whenever you're good.
Alright, co-pilot, the ship should stop momentarily.
All right, thank you.
ROV nav bridge move complete.
Copy bridge.
Oftentimes we start to
Thank
see...
you, Tyler.
sort
Over
of-
to the oh, hello. On the right, we're seeing an orange starfish.
Oh,
Okay.
I'll go there.
I think. What depth are we at?
it is
1602 is D2 step.
1602. And it's a rock pen right next to it on the left. But
Ooh,
there's something...
dum. Guess what that starfish is going to be eating in like 6 days or so.
That is...
All right.
That is
Video,
just
go for
wrong.
starfish.
And nothing's wrong in nature, of course. But it's-
Ah. That's interesting. What are those?
we have a very quiet
Do
pause.
you, is there, are we at max zoom? Oh, wow. So this is really neat because the things that you're seeing on the surface, these are actually pedicelaria. They're not spines that I originally thought. These are little jaw-shaped structures that are
Yep.
covering the surface of this animal. And so
series gonna keep
that's
swinging
not
for
something I
about,
typically see, and so that's why
I'd say at least 3 minutes.
I'm
So-
going to say let's collect this.
Well, he's at
That's why
75, so
that's why I just
you'll be
asked
okay.
the pilot to stand by.
Yeah, do it
Yes.
ship
You were
back 10 meters.
Thank
pondering
you.
this. Are we good with this, folks?
Bridge,
This
this
is an
ROV.
unusual sea star.
Yeah.
We're not seeing a whole lot of things
Go
so
ahead, Nat.
far. Maybe we
Can we actually move the ship
grab
back
this
about
because
10 meters?
quite
that would
frankly,
be
I've never seen the
10
sea
meters
star before
range,
either,
bearing
Chris, and at least
one
on
Normally,
capsule.
yeah. Normally the
Zero.
surface is covered with spines on
Speed
something
0 is
like
small
this.
It's just
That is a
strange,
move
those
of
little
10
white.
meters.
Oh, yeah, well,
Yeah,
they're-
I just haven't seen that before.
Yeah, they're
Okay.
covered with pedicelaria. I've never. That's
No,
really
but
freaky.
I missed that. Was there interesting
So there
collection
are
here?
There is.
each one of
yeah,
those
it's
little
in the
structures is
program.
essentially a little like a little jaw, and so in some cases they're two jaws or even three jaws. You can see the sort of triangular structures, and I don't know how they're used exactly. If they're used in feeding or
Copy, Bridge, thank
whatnot.
you.
We've seen something similar to
Besides,
this.
Is this
Oh, sorry.
Sorry, is this definitely a collection?
Yes, sir.
Copy that.
We're
All right, video. If you want to come wide,
we're
I'll
of course
sign up.
polling our group. So
Yeah.
we're not a.
Sea stars like this are often predatory on sea pens and other fleshy cnidarians, so that's probably we're probably interrupting its repast. Oh well.
It's a nice size one, and it's in an
Yeah.
easy location, presumably to collect, I think.
Nice.
And Sean did a miracle job getting that tiny sea star for you yesterday. That was
And
amazing.
I'm constantly in awe of their abilities because I barely have the ability to write things in with my big fingers. So their dexterity is astonishing.
So can you go? This is a Gani. I'm sorry, I
Ship-
was looking
ship
at stuff,
moving,
but this is a Gani.
Yeah, we're going
Yes, sir.
back.
Goni Aster Day.
So,
So
we're going
that's as
backward.
far as you're
yeah,
Okay.
so to
gonna
be
willing
right
to
on
go
top of
this,
it,
or
so
you
you
got anything
shouldn't
else for the log.
have to worry about it too
Let's
much.
say Calliaster for now. Calliaster. But I'm not sure that's what it is.
I'll put a double question mark on
Is this
it.
a collection or just a...
Yeah.
Okay.
See if that holds. Okay, I think it's okay.
And then I think it's
Just a quick question. What was your
coral
hydraulic
people's turn to maybe
level when you...
get an
Of course.
animal after this.
Of course.
It's been about.
Well,
like
I
that
got
since
3
we saw
you
it.
got on
sponges,
bottom.
and you
Yeah.
got 3
It dropped a little
sea
bit.
stars.
I was
Yeah,
actually
it's
going to
started-
say
it was
that
at a good level.
collecting that rock pen
Like
might be a
70%
good
now.
option too.
It does
They're
not
really
drop past like this.
hard to collect.
Oh,
actually.
okay.
And I tried it once. It's a wasted experience.
No samples yet, so I'll probably just go port with this.
It's possible because they have those pens, but I think it'd be better if we look for
RV nav bridge move complete.
Cover bridge, thank you.
some of the others.
Are we full wide on Sirius
types
video?
of octocorals.
So
that's arm to
co-pilot,
arm,
the ship
that's
just
a good
stopped
10
moving.
centimeters,
Sorry.
it looks like.
Yeah, I think we'll be all
Just
right.
Yep.
All right. Ramping up your hydraulics.
Great. Arms coming on. 2-1.
Yeah, so that's what we're going to go for, Tina. It looks like Sako and Steve are okay with this. Tina, we're going to grab this as our first because neither Chris nor I have ever seen this sea star. Looks very unusual. So Tina's okay with it as well, so we're good to go here. Dive 8, that's right. And I'll bet this is probably going to go into port inner, but I'm not sure.
Let me know if you'd like to zoom on Mini Zeus.
Could we actually? Yeah. Mini Zeus, please.
You got it.
Oh, thanks. There we go. Nudge. There we go. All right.
I have a question for you, Sean. Before you grab it, do you want me to go ahead and extend the drawer? I've got the box ready to go, because then you can just get it in there without waiting for me to open it. What do you think? No other samples, right?
Yeah, no, there's names. Yeah.
You want me to try it here? Just
Yeah.
to see? Okay.
See if it does.
All right, it's fully open.
Thank you.
Please pardon the interruption. Your conference contains less than 3 participants at this time. If you would like to continue, press star 1 now, or the conference will be terminated.
All right, almost there, Washington.
Please pardon the interruption. Your conference contains less than 3 participants at this time. If you would like to continue, press star 1 now, or the conference will be terminated. You have activated the participant help menu. Press star 0 for technical assistance. Star 1 to reinitiate.
Take a quick moment just to do a little general note here. This is a live broadcast from the NOAA ship Okeanos Explorer. We are on a seamount in the Pacific Remote Islands Marine National Monument Johnston Atoll Unit. The seamount is tentatively called Pierpont Seamount. That is not an official name. That's one that's going to be submitted for it after the Falkor, the Schmidt Ocean Institute ship, mapped it last December. And our current depth is about 1,600 meters down below the surface. We're near the summit of the seamount. Actually, we're more or less on the summit of the seamount. And we're obviously trying to collect the sea star that is fighting back.
Yeah.
This is a little tougher collection than I expected just because of the weird little rocks that it's in.
Oh, okay. Yeah, like that.
I just heard their strategy, which sounds pretty sound to collect it. They're going to bump this into the sediment where it's going to be easy for them to get underneath it. Good strategy. The idea, Chris, since you just stepped out for a moment, is they're going to bump this down in the sediment where they can get a better grip on it.
Okeanos. There's nobody there.
So it looks like your finger's kind of hitting just behind it. You can see it in the minis. So I think what you could do is
That's the way it's been all morning.
you could change your angle on your wrist. Like you move the arm in, angle out, and then you can go edge on. You won't be able to see it as well in this camera. You'd be able to scrape it down the rock. Because right now you're trying to come in like perpendicular to the rock.
So you're saying Cydia?
So what you could do is bring the shoulder in a little bit, wrist pitch out a little bit, because then your fingers are kind of perpendicular to the rock, and then just scrape down.
Okay, I gotcha. Might be kind of close.
Yeah, it's up to you.
Yeah, I'm about to try it.
Bring your drawer in a little bit.
Okay, I think we'll look at that.
To tilt down your mini Zeus.
Chris, you can breathe. I mean, they're probably going to get the sea star. It's okay. Got it. Okay.
So I'm going to try to get him to say a little more.
And the last thing I'll say, and I won't bother you again.
No, it's all right. Go for it.
When you're coming down, try to get your jaws feathered in and holding.
Yeah.
Before you even come down. And then,
Yeah.
And then you know you won't have to move through quite so much of an arc to get it closed.
Yeah, copy that. Yeah, awesome, thank you. Awesome. Thanks, Dan.
Great. Nice job, Sean.
Yeah, thanks for the help. All right, wash leads, it's in. Port inner.
Thank
Sorry
you.
for the delay.
No worries. I appreciate your efforts. Okay, so we've just completed a collection, and I believe we are ready to move on.
All right, arms off.
What was the bearing on the last move, Fernando? Or what direction were you heading?
That was 280.
Hey, Dave. While we're here, do you want to change real quick? Fernando, do you want to go to co-pilot? All right, Washington, we're just going to do a quick shift change real quick. Or
Very well.
just seat change.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
All good?
All good.
Lovely. You guys are awesome. Thank you.
Fernando, if we're centered on our move, I can lateral port. I'll get back under you.
So for those of you who are just tuning in, this is Chris Ma from the
Copy that.
Smithsonian's National Museum of Natural History. We've just spent
Can you hear me?
the last few minutes
Yep, I have
collecting a potentially new species of sea star, one that was probably about to feed on that sea pen. So if you're all for sea
Rescued
pens
it.
or rock pens, then today was your lucky day. We're now moving on, presumably on course up the slope. I want to thank another stocked crinoid on the lower right side. I think that's the same one we just, or the same species that we just saw. While we're still sort of just lifted off and whatnot, we just had a shift change on the front row. Perhaps our engineering row could introduce themselves as we begin another segment of our dive.
Sure, we're actually the same group. We just played a little musical chairs. So I'm Dave Casagrande. I'm in as pilot now. To my left is Sean Kennison, navigator. Right is Fernando Aragon. He's the co-pilot. And over in the corner, Bob Nodder, video engineer. And behind me is Annie White, clipping. We're all from the Global Foundation for Ocean Exploration.
Thank you. And this is Chris Ma from the Smithsonian's National Museum of Natural History, along with my co-lead, Chris Kelly, who's around. And
All right,
and,
go ahead.
Nav, I
Nicola
think
Rodriguez
we're
from
ready
the
for a move
University
at
of
any time.
Hawaii at Hilo.
Thank
Copy
you.
that. So we've been moving.
Let's move on and see what else
So happy with that.
deep sea can give us.
Copy. I'll put
We have a
just,
nice branching
standard
structure
30
over to
meters
the
in.
right.
Copy that. Sounds good.
Looks like another of that same stock crinoid to the left.
Ah, okay. The
ahead,
red
Matt.
Croisocrinus.
I am.
Let's look at this coral.
Sure.
That's 30 meters at 280 at 0.2 knots.
It doesn't look like one that I've seen before.
Something skittering across the bottom. Video, you can
Ooh,
come in.
always skittering things are always good too. But let's focus on this coral for
ROV
our
average, move
coral
at 30
people.
meters,
Oh,
bearing
I think I know what
280
this
speed,
is.
0.2 initiated.
So shoreside, this looks like, is it Paragorgia with zoanthids? What say you? All right, so Steve Auskovich calls it Paragorgia. So I think that's what this is. So this is kind of an example of a struggle in the deep sea, not the brittle star, or rather the serpent star, but this coral is Paragorgia. That's the red stuff you're seeing is the host animal, and then the gold sort of anemone-like animals are growing over it, so it's kind of commanding and taking over the space in this colony. And in the meantime, you have this brittle star, this ophiuroid, a serpent star, sitting. These live commensally on these colonies and essentially use them to just take advantage of the water current as it flows by, ignoring the zoanthid paragorgia struggle going on around it, undoubtedly. Steve Oskowicz actually gets to the species Paragorgia coralloides. Anyway, yeah, great. We can move on.
Okay.
Go ahead, Nav. No, I think they powered all mapping instruments. We don't even have the ADCP on. You can tell right there. We don't have the surface current updating, so I think everything's off. Yeah.
Was there any change with the longer interrogation rate?
Not really.
We could
still pretty
focus
bad.
in on this white thing on the rock ahead of us.
Sure, we'll do that in
Thank
the
you.
water. Video, you can come in.
Looks like a dead barnacle. Oh, live barnacle?
Might be alive.
Yeah. This is a very large deep sea representative of the sort of barnacle one might see in the intertidal zone or on your boat dock. These are.
Try to get closer.
This one looks
Actually,
closed.
Matt,
The
you
top
might wanna know
has
in
the plates
in the book that
shut.
there was some USBL
But it looks like we have a little
testing. I
hydroid
didn't,
colony
but
and some brittle stars
just
and
write
some
it
other
down.
things on this rock as well. Okay, we're good. We can move on.
Okay.
Thank you.
I'm back. Sorry, folks. Had a little chore I had to take care of.
mentioning
No
that
worries.
because
Out there
we
in the
stopped
dry lab?
tracking of both
Yeah, we saw
vehicles
some
at point.
paragorgia.
Oh, you did?
So
Yeah, with that
there's
gold coral
something in the
taking
data,
over.
then we'll know.
You mean
Just because
zoanthids
we were
rather than
testing
gold
them, not
coral?
because they
Because this is pretty
just
deep for
Oh,
stopped
whatever.
a
tracking
true
for no reason.
Kulamana.
Okay. Yeah.
So this would just be yellow zoanthids.
Okay, I
right?
apologize to Tina for missing the zoom on the Syrianthid. We'll have to make that up to you later.
Something under this rock. Come on in, video.
It's one of these
Still sorry.
meshes with brittle stars in it, which are always confusing.
This is really
Yeah,
odd.
we've seen these before, but who knows what forms them.
What are all these little flocculent patches? So there's more forams?
Yeah, I don't know. We're a good pilot. This is
Okay,
the
yeah.
mystery mesh. I guess
There was
you could
also
call it.
kind of a spidery looking thing over to the right.
Spidery looking thing. to the
Yeah,
right.
I'm sorry, when we pull back,
Okay.
there's
Come on now.
something on the rock that... Yeah, maybe it was just that. Yeah, that's it. The white, spidery looking... Is it
I
a sea
don't
anemone?
see it.
Over
Oh,
to the right.
okay.
Yeah,
Way
it's
over
maybe it's an anemone or something. Not sure. It almost looks like kind of a jellyfish.
Sean, how heavy was that starfish
Where?
we feel?
Oh,
real,
there it is. Okay.
Real sinky right now.
Anemone.
No, it's an anemone.
Yeah.
It was 30,
He had
40
some
pounds.
girth, but I don't think he was that much. You can adjust the e-buys if you want.
Come on in, video.
So is it a corallimorpharian?
Could be. I know what you're looking at, those white tips, but they're not really pronounced. I would...
It's an anemone proper, perhaps.
Well, it's got a little bit of characteristics of both because it's a little bit transparent with a little bit of white tips, but
22 is a lot.
those are characteristics of corallimorpharians. But I don't know. I'm leaning more toward an anemone. We have any help here from the chat room? Any of you guys have an opinion about this? Tina thinks it's an anemone. Yeah, I would tend to go anemone too. Thanks, Tina.
Think that's enough?
Yeah, we're good.
Okay. Yeah, we can move on. Thank you.
So we seen any of those ledges
you,
yet? Or it looks like we're
78
getting into
pilot.
a little bit harder substrate.
Yeah.
All right.
Nothing
Well,
really
push ahead a little
dramatically rising so
We still
far,
moving
is it?
now?
Yeah, ship's probably. Actually, let me see how much is left.
Something.
Yeah, there's
Yeah,
a big
couple meters
colony
left.
or something right ahead of us to the right.
Yeah. Oh, it's several things. Maybe an enemy under this rock in front of it. Something.
Are we still
The
logging
red thing,
any
is that what
values?
you're looking at, Pilot?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, let's take a look at that.
Let's snap in on this video.
Yeah, it's a crab.
It's a crab carrying something.
Yeah,
One of
so
those carry crabs with the sea anemone on it.
this is a true crab. It's Brachyura, I believe, and it's in the family Homolidae, and we think we actually know what this thing is. Lomoha longirostris is what the arthropod folks like Mary Wickstein are telling us. That's the best guess.
All right, video. That should do it.
Right, Pat, that looks to be the move. So maybe a couple minutes this way left.
Oh yeah, that's our first for
Copy
today.
that. Thank you.
You
Now.
got a
Roger,
nice
now, Bridge move
gorgeous
complete.
right there. I wonder if you could zoom in on that coral in
Sure.
the foreground. That weird way that slab is propped up. Like, how does it get that way? That's pretty strange. The thing come tumbling down like something
on
on
in video.
edge. And then,
You know, those predatory tunicates are surprisingly abundant in this area.
yeah, and after this, we've got a forked white colony over to the right.
I
If
see
you
that.
Look at
We'll
this.
go to that next.
So is this Chrysogorgia?
This is Chrysogorgia, and it's got a little, probably Europtychus squat lobster in it. Can't do any better than the genus. It looks like something we call Chrysogorgia geniculata, but these are really hard to identify. At least for me, I think Les Watling and Scott France are
Okay, pilot.
better
copy
at
that.
it than I am.
0 degrees.
All right, thank you.
By far.
How's the tether look? Are we still okay?
Understatement of the planet. But they understand the whole branching arrangement.
Yes, and
how
I'm
it all works.
told that these are quite complicated, and the
Can't quite see it,
student I
but
knew who was revising
I
these
think
said
it's okay.
that
Video come
yeah.
out. Let's move to the next thing. We need to get moving pretty soon.
Yeah,
so
that
I'll
one,
get
that-
onto that branch coral pretty quickly.
Yeah, so this could be one of these two-branch primnoids that we sampled. And we
come on in,
also
video. We'll do it
have
floating.
something up on the rock. Looks like another one of predatory tunicates. But this is going to be a
not working.
primnoid, I think.
oh, it's a primnoid.
So
Yeah.
come back out. I'll get a better view.
But it's this weird double branch structure that Steve Cairns at the Smithsonian, I think he identified this as a new species. There was a whole bed of these off of Wake that we encountered last year. That'd be my guess. Or it's a very young, I think it's Narella.
Oh, Narella?
I think so. I wish I could remember what Steve told me, but I might have it in the guide version that I've got. I call it Narella Forked for the moment. Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely Narella. I'm quite positive. And what I'm looking at is they call the body scales from where the tentacles go down and attach to the main branch there. There's
we
at
should
least
get
3
going.
of them there, and
Come on out, video.
that will differentiate it from
We
Calyptrophora.
need to get moving. I have Sirius over top of me, but did you
Great.
want to fly by on something else as we do that?
I think we're good right
Okay.
now, Dave. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you.
Get going then. It's a very interesting rock.
Yes,
Yes.
it is.
sticking out at a very awkward angle.
I suspect it might have been propped on sort of a pedestal. It eroded around the base, and at some point the pedestal collapsed, and the rock just...
All right,
Because we've seen these weird pedestal type of rocks before.
Yeah, interesting. That's a nice little nodule field, I guess.
Yeah. So didn't I say we were going to get into steeper topography, or was that you who said that?
What?
I'm just sort of amazed. We haven't yet got our steeper topography. Even I'm looking at HiPAC, and we keep getting closer and closer to it.
Snap zoom on this.
Is this one of your beasts?
Yeah, it's a Brisingid. Whoops.
Shot.
1, 2. So there's 2 arms that look like they're regrowing, possibly after predation from fish or something.
Biddy, why don't you come out and I'll sit down and get a nice
Oh, no,
shot
that's
here.
okay. We can move on. Yeah, these are, they're difficult to identify from pictures, and I think we need to get to this
all right, we'll keep
place
moving.
with the
Okay, now I don't
fancy
see anything
slopes.
So
sonar.
would you go Brisingid?
Copy that.
Is that right?
Yeah, Brisingid.
So actually
Brisingid
3-0.
Still happy.
So
Or
keep us trucking that way.
Sure.
Ish.
You got it.
Sounds
But,
good.
Put Brisingid
It's hard to
question
say.
mark, would that be?
yeah, Brisingid
Gonna
question
come
mark.
down a
It's
little
hard to
bit.
tell those from pictures anyway, so. See all the sacrifices I make
ahead
for the
now.
expedition.
You do, it's amazing.
I am.
All right. 30 meters at 280 degrees at 0.2 knots.
That's 30 meters at 280, speed 0.2.
Good copy.
Thanks.
Well, I don't see much of anything. I'm going to try off to the left a little bit while the ship catches up.
Yeah, the slope is straight ahead of us, due west.
Yep, that's
And
where we're
that's-
headed.
Yeah, and I would have thought we would see something by now. This is a little disconcerting.
ROV nav bridge, move at 30 meters, bearing 280, speed 0.2 initiated.
Copy that. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Well, there was that very engaging little patch we just went through. I'm sure it'll just be a moment. Ah, here we go.
This is engaging.
It's got a
Well, it's
crinoid
got
on
a,
it.
well, no, it's got a sponge on it. That's what's
Relatively
really interesting.
engaging.
Yes, exactly.
Relatively engaging. Okay. Texture of that rock it's sitting on is kind of curious. This thing looks like it could be at Glyptometra maybe. The depth is pretty good for it, and the way it's perched on the rock.
Come on in.
It's in the family Teratometridae, but what do you think, Chris? I started sticky with this yesterday too.
Oh, was this one of those
The yellow ones.
things about the cirri being adhesive or not adhesive, prehensile?
Yeah, versus propping like this one is.
Well, I'll leave it to Chuck. I'm not great with crinoids, and they're very difficult to do from pictures. So, very very elegant picture, though. I think there's a sponge over to the left that I can harass Chris about.
All right, come on out.
Harass away. Oh yeah,
So
go into a sponge.
Is this Bolosoma, Chris?
You got it. I thought.
You should have
Yes.
plenty of tether to
You sure?
go to a sponge and farther if you
Is
want.
sure it doesn't have prehensile
That's
cirri
about
or
as
something?
far off the port as I'd like to go.
Sponges don't have cirri. Nice one. This is a stocked member of the family Euplectellidae, and it is what, Chris? You know this one by now.
Didn't I just say Bolosoma?
You just said Bolosoma. I just wanted you to reiterate it. Something's drifting by in the water there.
Oh,
It's
it
like a
is.
ctenophore. Oh, yeah.
Do a
Is there a way?
quick zoom
Yeah.
on that because the
Try.
sponge ain't going anywhere.
It's coming right at me.
You
So now,
attack of the
All right,
ctenophore.
come on
this
in.
is co-pilot altitude. The
moving
minimum
fast.
altitude we want is
Oh, wow.
more than
Could
10,
ask
I
right?
love
Good.
it when we get into
Nothing less
the
than 10.
when we get the lights on it and we
Like
get
for
zoom. Oh,
Delta?
yeah, there we go.
No,
That is
altitude.
beautiful.
Yeah, I would not go below.
It's like
Or
when you
50.
encounter the alien probe on Star Trek.
Yeah, if you know it's flat like
Wow.
this, I mean,
I gotta lose
10's
that.
fine.
Oh, well. Thank you.
But if you're unsure,
we don't have to go back to
Yeah,
the sponge.
never
if
wanna
it's not
go
on the route because
10 or below.
we know what it is.
Okay.
Yeah,
thank
I'm
you.
trying to keep it
It's Tina
above
Ford
10
was-
right now.
yeah,
Better.
No, yeah, you're fine.
I can't
with
believe
that.
I said that, but
Oh, sure. Well, it's
Found a
unusual.
rock.
it's unusual, and the sponge is less unusual.
Okay, well, the ship has caught up a little bit, so I'm going
You gonna go
to
for
push
it?
out again.
Okay.
Head forward, Helm.
I am mildly disappointed.
Yeah, it looks like
with my
10
choice
more
of
meters in
sites
that
this
move.
Well, we haven't
Copy,
gotten
thank
there,
you.
Chris.
morning. I know we
Don't
have,
worry.
but I am a
Sure.
little.
I'm sure your judgment will be demonstrated for all of us to see.
This one actually is important, just again from the. It's the type of terrain. I mean, as you could actually visualize this being pretty easy to mine in the future if such. I mean, they wouldn't do it in a monument, but this type of topography. And
That's not what we're looking for today.
so it's not really clear
The
if
ship
and when
hasn't stopped
that
right
will
now.
occur, but it's always
Oh,
good
that's
to try
correct.
to
It's,
see what
coming
could
to an end,
potentially
but
be
still a little more.
impacted,
Just tack 30
down the
onto
road a
end
bit
of it.
before it
Copy
actually
that.
happens. We humans have this amazing capacity to dive headfirst in there and then repair the damage that we've done afterward or try to repair it. In this case, we actually have a chance of taking a look and studying things before a major
Go ahead.
commercial activity takes place.
Sure.
It's kind of one of the points here and
30 meters to
Capstone
a 0.2.
expedition.
Good copy.
We've got time, and we can really help out
A
here
little
by
close.
characterizing the unique
Co-pilot,
communities
low.
that are down on this substrate.
Indeed.
Coming up.
It's just that one good heave, I think. I see some color, just a little bit.
RV nav bridge, move at 30 meters, going 280, speed 0.2
You
initiated.
do?
Oh, there's another.
Oh, I
yeah,
see.
let's go to one of those crinoids.
Oh, the yellow.
Yeah,
And something a little red to the right.
to the right. There's that brown patch over there. Is that
Brown.
what you're
Brown,
talking about?
red.
Brown red.
You know,
More of a tan.
it's not gray.
What is that? Is it a coral
It's a,
around the rock?
I
pad?
know what it is.
I think it's a crinoid.
Yeah, it is a feather star. Huh.
Come on in, video.
All right.
Oh yeah. How nice.
So that's a partial.
All right, so
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
so we actually
9 arms. This is a
Close
different
if you
species
like.
than we've been
Alright.
seeing. For those
That's
of you who
wholesome.
are just tuning in, crinoids are echinoderms. That is to say, they're distant relatives of sea stars and sea urchins. But they're different in that they're primarily filter feeders, and they extend these arms with all of these projections called pinnules out into the water, where they take advantage of the current to feed on organic food that they can eat and digest. The mouth is right there in the center of that cup where the arms are branching off. And we see quite a lot of them at depth. This is one form called feather, which we call feather stars. We saw another sort of older thing called a stalked crinoid with more developed stalk earlier on. The two are actually related. These, when they're younger, they break off from a stalked form, sort of like a little rocket launcher, and take off and swim around like a little feather, like the little cup off of a rocket. Anyway, yeah. So, Chris, did you have a?
well, I tentatively. This is from Chuck Messing, and I have a tentative idea of possibly Thalmatocrinus rugosus. He has a question mark on it, but sort of a longer view is this.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's very similar.
Yeah.
Teminocrinidae.
Yeah, even though it doesn't have the 5
That's
arms like
probably
other members
fair.
of that family, this is what he thinks it could be.
We're full
Good
page.
catch.
And I
Thank
think
you.
I think we actually collected one of those
Ah,
too.
okay.
I think this is coming from an informed
2 quick ones before I leave.
examination.
Come in. Just some sediment. And up here
And it's
is
just another one of these
another of
yellow
the same
crinoids.
Yeah.
that
Okay,
we
you
imaged a
can come
little
back
while
out.
ago.
All right.